curfew is still in effect. Go back to your homes.
If you're hunting for games where the writing absolutely shines, from heartfelt stories to rich engrossing lore, you're in for a treat with this list. Today, I'm exploring some of the most narrative-driven games that stick with you, whether they're indie treasures or big-budget hits. Oh, and I'm always posting fresh videos, so if you'd like to back me up, a like and subscribe would mean the world. Alright, let's jump into the list. Kicking off this list, we have Hades. Supergiant Games always nails storytelling, and Hades probably snags the crown for blending replayability with a story that keeps evolving. It's a roguelike, so yeah, you're gonna bite the dust a ton. Normally, games like this struggle to keep a gripping story going since you're always resetting, but Hades weaves the dialogue and plot so slickly into each run that dying feels like part of the tale. Every time you flop back to Hades' palace after a failed run, the characters react, new convos pop up, and it's like you're still pushing forward, even if your combat progress got yeeted back to zero. It's wild how the writers sneak story bits into every corner of the gameplay without it ever feeling shoved in your face. It's not the deepest character-driven saga out there, but the father-son tension is tight and juicy. Where it really shines, though, is how the gameplay loops feed right into the story. Bit by bit, you uncover more about the gods, Zagreus, our main guy, and what's driving his obsession to bust out of the underworld. The pacing, chef's kiss. Zagreus might chat with Achilles or Thanatos after a run, and every quick talk hits hard without slowing things down. It keeps you hooked, always wondering who's gonna pop up next or what hidden motive they're hiding. There's some serious wizardry going on behind the scenes, guiding you along like the game's gently pulling you through its own underworld. At number 9, we have Disco Elysium. Alright, summing up what makes Disco Elysium so unique is tough. It's not just the writing, though yeah, that's stellar. The game's all about these deep, branching conversations where every chat feels vibrant. The NPCs aren't just tossing out generic lines, they've got this richness, like they're living full lives just out of sight. It's like you're bumping into real folks tangled in their messy, complex worlds. Then there's your character. What a mess, right? He's spiraling hard. You're steering him through this haze of amnesia and regret, trying to crack a murder case, but the human vibe of it all keeps pulling you off track. The voice acting? Straight up stunning, almost stage play level, making you second-guess choices you thought were no-brainers. Before you know it, the dialogue's diving into deep thoughts on poverty, addiction, failure, big stuff that just blends into your detective work. This game's straight up literary, no cap. Characters drop references to mythology, history, and books like it's nothing. Trying to nitpick the story feels off because it's so deliberate in what it's doing. Only downside, when it's done, it's done. No replays, no DLC, just those haunting, bittersweet Martinez vibes you wish could stick around forever. Alright, at number 8 is Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. So Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader is totally the jam for folks who dig their CRPGs with a heavy literary vibe. If you're into those old school gems like Baldur's Gate or Planescape Torment, you're gonna feel right at home. Don't expect a ton of dazzling animations or slick cutscenes. This game's world is built on words. We're talking meaty dialogue, chunky lore dumps, and pages of choices that make it feel like you're the star of a dense sci-fi novel, picking how the story rolls. This ain't for peeps chasing quick thrills. You've got to hunker down and soak in these lush descriptions of planets, factions, and pretty much everything you run into. The Warhammer 40k lore comes at you thick, with every line adding to this massive universe. Your choices aren't just about crunching stats, they've got these deep thematic ripple effects. And the characters, they're not just random NPCs, they've got layers brought to life through how you engage with the game's text. It's a far cry from today's games with their shiny graphics and ready-made cinematics. Rogue Trader asks you to chill with the story, to chew on the words. Reading's not a slog here, it's the whole deal. It's slow, careful, almost intentional, like every move you make needs its own moment to breathe. It's a dive into the grim, dark future, all through text and your choices. Coming up at number 7, we have Cyberpunk 2077. Especially with Phantom Liberty DLC, Cyberpunk 2077 had its big debut, and it didn't quite go as planned, right? But hold up, fast forward a bit, especially with that Phantom Liberty DLC, and it's morphed into the epic game folks were hyped for way back when. The second you roll back into Night City, the world building just grabs you. Alive doesn't even cut it when you're talking about the universe CDPR's cooked up. It's got these deep, interconnected vibes tying every glowing street corner to the gritty heart of its dystopian soul. Phantom Liberty cranks that heart up to 11. The new Dogtown district alone is dripping with political drama and spy thriller energy, like a sci-fi Cold War flick hopped up on Cybertech. Idris Elba's character, total A-list fire. But the writing? Man, it goes hard, not just, ooh, shiny future stuff. It dives into big questions like who you are, what you'd give up, those late-night post-quest existential vibes. Oh, and quick shout-out, combat's slicker now, and the city's got that polished sheen. Does that wipe away the launch hiccups? Nah, not totally, but the story? It's locked in now, less like a choppy plot and more like a full-on futuristic opera. Slap on that neural link and jump back in. This time, the tale might just stick with you way after you unplug. Next at number 6 is Yakuza 0. This one is just on another level, right? The Yakuza series always brings that wild mix of street fights, heavy drama, and straight-up bonkers side quests, but 0? It's like the whole engine's revving at max. Kiryu and Majima are the stars here, and their stories dance this tightrope between gut-punch backstories and the most absurd, over-the-top moments. It sounds like it should fall apart with those tonal swings, but somehow it nails every single beat. What's nuts is how it keeps all these plot lines spinning without dropping the ball. You've got Kiryu slugging his way through shady real estate scams, while Majima's getting dragged into this grim cabaret underworld and some brutal punishments. It's wild on paper, but it all ties into this raw, emotional core that hits harder than anything else in the series. The writing thrives on those clashes. Hardcore crime drama next to karaoke nights or epic boss battles capped with soul-bearing confessions. It's a tightrope walk, and that push-pull tension makes it stick in your head. Real talk though, it kinda spoils you for the rest of the series. The later games are solid, but they're missing that special sauce Zero had. The pacing, the stakes, something's just not as crisp. If Zero's your first Yakuza, you're gonna be chasing that vibe through every other game, and man, it's a tough one to top.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
Up next we have What Remains of Edith Finch. So, What Remains of Edith Finch feels like stumbling on an old, dusty diary tucked away on some forgotten shelf, only to find every page pulls you into something weird, gorgeous, or straight-up gut-wrenching. The Finch family house is your sandbox, and as you roam its twisty, almost claustrophobic halls, you can feel the weight of history crammed into every corner. Every little detail, a hidden mural, a sealed-up doorway, practically begs you to uncover the stories it's holding. Each Finch's story gets told in its own wild, unique way, both in how it looks and how it plays, all tied to Edith digging into her roots. As the narrator, Edith reads out loud, guiding you through these shattered memories, often with trippy or symbolic gameplay, like soaring as a bird or flipping through a comic that comes alive. There's this quiet sadness woven into every scene, and the writing doesn't spoon-feed you. It leaves room for you to ponder why every Finch meets such a bizarre end. Yeah, there's some classic reading mixed in, but it's more like a soft backdrop. The narration just flows over you, meshing with the gameplay like it's your dance partner in a slow, graceful spin. It's a short ride, but what makes it shine is how it uses every single piece to craft this haunting family saga. You're piecing together tales within tales, each one packed with visual and textual metaphors. Those moments, they stick with you.
Hello? Whoever this is?
It's Henry, right?
Yeah.
I'm Delilah.
At number 4, while we're still talking about an indie game, this game is one of those games where if you're down for the ride, you're in for something special. Right when you step into Henry's shoes and hit the stunning, lonely Wyoming wilderness, it's like you're actually there. The story doesn't lean on crazy plot twists or wild action, and honestly, it doesn't have to. It's intimate, personal, and superhuman, like you're peeking into someone's life, sorting through their buried baggage. The bond you form with Delilah, your only link to the outside world from that huge forest, is straight up writing gold. It's heavy on dialogue, yeah, but it never feels like it's trying too hard. Each day, you learn a bit more about these characters, and as the weird stuff starts to unravel, you're just as hooked on their everyday lives as the bigger mystery. Sure, some folks weren't thrilled with the ending, but that open-ended raw vibe is what gives it punch. It's not about tying every loose end, but soaking in the whole experience. Any gripes? Well, you're going to do a lot of walking and chatting. For some, that chill pace might not click. But Firewatch nails crafting a journey where those quiet moments stick with you long after you've left the Shoshone Forest in the rear view. At number 4, it's Death Stranding. Death Stranding is Kojima cranking the weirdness to 11, but somehow it's also his most human work. At first glance, you've got these wild names, Deadman, Hartman, Fragile, that sound like they're ripped from some gonzo graphic novel. And the gameplay? You're a post-apocalyptic mail carrier, hauling packages across rugged mountains, dodging ghost-like things and dealing with rain that literally makes you age. It's straight up bizarre, no question. But the crazy part? You end up genuinely caring about these characters. Kojima's been pulling this trick since Metal Gear Solid, taking these over-the-top characters and making them feel so real. He leans hard into the absurd, but at their core, his characters hit you with something super relatable. Take Sam Porter Bridges. He's lugging around a wailing baby in a pod and battling monsters on some creepy beach. But deep down, he's just lonely. He's grappling with isolation, loss, and connections that are either broken or never got a chance to form. The whole vibe of being alone in a shattered world, slowly piecing it back together. It feels real, even if Sam's world is this bonkers sci-fi fever dream. Sure, the dialogue can drag on a bit, and some of Kojima's metaphors hit you over the head like a sledgehammer. Subtlety isn't his thing, but even when the writing teeters on ridiculous, there's this earnestness that keeps you hooked instead of scoffing. Kojima gets his characters, and because of that, you can't help but feel connected to them in a way that sticks with you. Now at number 2, Spec Ops: The Line. This one really hits hard, like it burrows into your brain and doesn't let go. At first glance, it seems like just another military shooter, right? But if you went in expecting that, you got hit with a curveball. This game messes with your head, flipping your assumptions on their ass. You think you're the hero, doing hero stuff. But it slowly morphs into this heavy, psychological story that drowns you in the murky gray of war and morality. The writing? Straight up fierce. Every choice slaps you with questions about what's right, what's wrong, and if any of it even matters in the mess of battle. Captain Walker, the lead, just keeps sliding deeper into the abyss with every chapter, and by the end, you're side-eyeing your own role in it all. The game straight up makes you part of the awful stuff going down. It's that mirror it holds up to real-world conflicts and moral rot that puts it in a class of its own. Bummer alert, though. Good luck finding it now. It's been yanked from digital shops like Steam and GOG over some licensing drama. You'll probably have to scavenger hunt for a physical copy. Such a shame, because Spec Ops deserves way more eyes on it. It shatters the mold of generic military shooters and does this haunting, introspective thing. That barren Dubai vibe, the sandstorms, the lingering questions, they gnaw at you long after you ditch the controller.
Run!
Now at number 1, it's A Plague Tale: Innocence and Requiem. The A Plague Tale series dives deep into gritty historical misery, mixing it with these almost otherworldly terrors, and it hooks you right away with its heavy, oppressive vibe. The plague feels so in your face, those swarming rats are a constant, gut-punching reminder that the world's gone completely off the rails. It's grim as hell, no question. War, death, sickness, it's all over the place. But at its heart, the story's really about these two siblings, Amicia and Hugo, clinging to each other through the chaos. The writing shines by zooming in on those quiet, tender moments between them, even as the world around them falls apart. There's this running idea that humanity lives on in the people you hold tight to, and you can feel Amicia's fierce need to protect Hugo. Her grit paired with his innocence, it makes every blow from the world's cruelty hit so much harder. The way A Plague Tale digs into innocence getting twisted by brutal circumstances, especially in Requiem, takes the story to another level. You ache watching Hugo grapple with his creepy control over the rat swarms, and there's this gut-wrenching sadness in seeing a kid deal with stuff no kid should ever face. The pacing can feel a bit sluggish, especially if stealth sections aren't your thing, but the emotional punch of every well-placed conversation makes every careful step worth it. In the end, you're not just battling rats or soldiers, you're fighting to keep a flicker of humanity alive in a harsh, unforgiving world. That kind of emotional storytelling, it's something most action-adventure games can't touch. That's the rundown. Hope you spotted some fresh games to dive into or old gems to replay. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stuff like this. Thanks for tuning in, and catch you in the next one.